Hey, Five Fans, is Michelle Joy Phelps with Boxing Social in partnership with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com, and Ready to Fight. And I'm joined now with the one and only Robert Garcia. Robert, thank you for your time. I always appreciate it. How are you?
Doing great. You know, ready for the weigh-ins. Everything's good. Should have no problem. And now, you know, ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, you're keeping busy.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you're not ever busy, but, you know, obviously just coming off of, we just had Bam's fight, just a few weeks ago, now Vergil. It's great to see you guys back together. How has that been?
It's actually great. You know, we've always had nothing but love for Vergil. His dad, we always stayed in touch. Also, we never had any bad feelings about each other or anything, you know, and I'm glad that we're working back together. The kid's a great kid, so much talent and so much potential that, you know, it's badass to be part of it. It's nice to be part of it.
Vergil's really happy. He's not only in great spirits, probably a big part of that is not having to cut down as much weight. I always see that with fighters when they move up, they're always a little bit more energetic around weigh-in time. He's had a journey, quite a journey. Things that were stacked against him that he couldn't control. And I was asking him about what that was like for him mentally. And he said that it was really hard on him. There was a lot of times where he just thought, where's my life going? Now that you guys have been able to, you know, start working together again, what's everything been like? Like, where is he mentally at the moment?
You know what? When we first started working together again, you know, with the dad, I've been talking a lot, and all those questions were things that we were asking ourselves. The dad was asking himself, you know, why my son? You know, my son's a great person, great kid, but things happen for a reason. You know, I think it was time to go up in weight. The kid's too big, and he's not. It's not like he's losing power because he's going in there against bigger guys. He's going to be stronger. Believe me, he's going to be stronger than he was at 147. Cutting down to 147 it just got impossible for him. And now 154, he had no problem making. Well, it's 156 for this fight, but he had no problem making it. So that's the first thing we were asking ourselves. How about those extra 2 pounds? He's full of energy right now. He's talking to everybody. He's going back and forth. So those next 2 pounds, when he has to make 154, will be no problem. I already seen it. So that was a little bit of. We were a little worried about that. Maybe those last 2 pounds could hurt him bad, but no. I think 154 is going to be where he should fight for the title. Hopefully this year, you know, we're going to keep him busy. Try to get 3 fights this year, and one of them could be for a world title.
Yeah, he actually said he's like, I want to fight in total 4 times this year. And I was like, wow.
Huge.
Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously he's been sitting on the bench for far too long, and now that he's ready to go, there's a lot waiting for him at 154. I know we do this when we ask the questions. We like to know, you know, hey, what about this person? What about that person? And actually, so we can't help but mention the fact that Terence Crawford is also moving up to 154. That was a name that's obviously circulated with him at 147. Just what are your thoughts on that?
That would be awesome. You know what? Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world right now, pound for pound. For me, my favorite. Since he was fighting for top rank and we grew up together since the amateurs, you know, we had a few fights against Mikey, one fight against Mikey and another fight against my nephew. You know, we knew the talent that Terence Crawford had, and to become pound for pound the best fighter in the world, at least in my list, it would be an honor to share the ring with him, to share the ring with Bomac. Me and Bomac, we always go back and forth. You know, I beat you here, I beat you there. You know, stuff like that. But we're friends. You know, and that's what boxing is all about. You know, I don't have any enemies. If we're against each other, yeah, I want to beat them. Yeah, they want to beat me. But before or after the fight, we're all friends. And sharing the ring with Bomac and Terence Crawford would be unbelievable. I would love that. And you know, but I think we're just too strong. I think we're just too strong for Terence Crawford, and people could fucking give me a hard time about what I'm saying, but we're just strong.
Well, his record does speak for itself. It's, you know, 19 wins, 19 knockouts. I mean, that's very impressive. I think the only other fighter at the moment that holds a record like similar to that is Beterbiev.
Correct, that's Beterbiev. I think there's also the champion at 140, Matias. That has nothing but knockouts, but he has 1 loss, so that doesn't put him at 100% because he already had a loss. But yeah, Beterbiev and Vergil.
Mm-hmm. So I was asking Vergil, you want to get in there, you want to do the knockout, keep the knockout streak, or is it more important to keep the round or get the rounds to shake off the ring rust? For him, it was, he'd obviously be happy with either or, but obviously the rounds matter at this point, given all the time off. What are your thoughts on it?
It's always good to get some rounds in. Any fighter when they're starting, and they're knocking everybody in one round, we always want them to go rounds. We always think it's better if they go rounds. Sometimes it's great for them to go to the distance, but we're just on a streak of just winning all his fights by knockout. So another knockout wouldn't hurt. I want the knockout.
Right.
I want the knockout. If he gets rounds, beautiful. Late rounds. Go into the late rounds and win by knockout late. But I'm not going to be surprised if it ends in 2 or 3 rounds. Honestly.
Vergil's a special talent. You already know that. We know that moving to 154 only gives him more, like you said, like it's an advantage in terms of his power. But do we take the route of getting a few tune-up fights first, or are you guys just ready to kind of go in and obviously try to work your way up to get the world champions?
You know what? I know. Vergil wants 4 fights, but realistically, we're gonna have hopefully 3.
Yeah.
The 3rd fight could already be for a world title. I think this one's gonna be a great fight to come back. Then we get another one early in the summer maybe, and then we should try to get pushed for a title fight at the end of the year.
If you could have it your way, Robert, like if there was, like, let's say the 3rd fight, would it be Terence Crawford, Jermell Charlo, Tim Tszyu? I would say his name wrong, sorry. Who would the goal be?
They're all great champions. They're all great fighters, but we want to go for the title. Crawford's not a champion yet. So he has to come and pick up a title. I think Charlo would probably be my first choice. Obviously, Golden Boy Promotion, Rick Marigan, the manager, they have to work things out with different promoters, with different managers. So that's going to be their job. But my choice would be Charlo.
Okay. And Bam, how is he?
Bam has enjoyed the holidays in Tokyo. He went to Tokyo for 10 days. He'll be back. He's back home already. His baby's going to be born March or April, so we'll get him back in the gym probably early May to fight sometime in July.
Have you guys been able to watch back the Sonny Edwards fight?
We've watched it 100 times.
Really?
There's fights that I don't really bother watching again, but that one we've watched it all over again because it was just the way the press conference, the weigh-ins, everything, Sonny, that little, I don't know if, I was in the locker room when he was wrapping his hands, and Sonny just kept going and blaming me for different things. He even brought up Margarito, that I was the one that did Margarito's hand wraps, where, he didn't do his homework. I wasn't even involved with Margarito when that happened. So, it was just back and forth. So I had plans to tell him something after the fight, but all that changed because he's a great person. He did that just to build the fight up. He's a great kid. His team were great after the fight. So, I have nothing bad to say about them. But, yeah, we've watched it a few times.
Some good tactics in terms of, you always try to get under your opponent's skin. I mean, it's worth a try, right? It's
worked with other fighters. Other fighters have done it, and it's worked, So, obviously, that's what they tried. Bam is a very patient kid. He's dedicated. He listens. So we try to do our best to hold him back, and he did. He listened. So the fight went out the way we expected it.
Next weekend, if you don't mind me asking what your prediction is, in Quebec we have Artur Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. The winner is already lined up for Dmitry Bivol, which is great. We're actually going to, if it is Beterbiev, the WBC has been able to work it out to where they can, the fight will get sanctioned. Just what are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a fight for, obviously there's always that chance of him losing because it's part of boxing, but on paper, he's going to win. He should win, and they're already looking. They probably already have a date for the fight against Bivol. So it's going to, I think that's it's a good fight for him to come back and win by another knockout, and then going straight into the Bivol fight. I'm glad boxing is doing stuff like this. We hadn't seen this in so many years where fighters are willing to fight each other, champions are fighting each other. We're getting a lot of undisputed champions. I think boxing is that's what we need in boxing. We need the promoters to work together, like Oscar De La Hoya has been saying for a few months. We got to get together. We got to work together. Hopefully everybody is on the same page so we could get all those fights. There's so many fights out there that the fans want to see, that the fans want to enjoy. Us in the business, and as fans, we want to see them too. So I hope everybody follows Oscar's lead and start doing all those fights, because we need to. Oscar did it with Tank. Obviously the PBC was also involved. So now there's talk about him maybe fighting Haney. So that's another great move. So that's the start of something big for boxing, because we need those fights. All those fighters fighting, unifying and fighting against each other. It's beautiful. That's what we need.
Right. And thankfully, we're having the help over in Saudi Arabia, which is giving basically the funding in order to make sure that these fights do happen. So that's exciting to see as well, because I'm hearing that Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney could potentially end up in Saudi Arabia.
That would be perfect, because not only will Ryan and Haney make probably the biggest payday ever, the promoters will be happy, the co-promotions will be happy. Saudi Arabia is going to be happy to do that and keep bringing them to that part of the world. I just hope it does happen, and I just hope things like that happen. I know Saudi Arabia works with the bigger guys, with the heavyweights, but starting at 140, that's great. Maybe they could go out to the lighter weight classes and make all those fights happen, because the money's there, and promoters are not going to say no to those paydays.
Yeah. Well, we are hearing also, not hearing, but it's a fact that the winner of the Beterbiev Smith fight will fight Bivol in Saudi Arabia. If it is Beterbiev, because obviously I think that's the fight everybody wants to see, Beterbiev versus Bivol. Who do you think wins that fight?
Man, it's a tough one right there, because you always got to know that the one with all that power, he could be losing every single round, and one punch could end the fight. Fighters that are that strong, hard to keep them away for so long. You could win the first half of the fight very comfortably, but you used to have another half, and they keep coming with that power. We were just talking about Vergil, same thing. You could probably outbox from the first few rounds. Maybe Beterbiev is going to have trouble the first few rounds, but eventually he's going to have to find his way in. So it's not going to be easy for Bivol, but Bivol's style, he's so smart, and he uses his reach so well that I'd probably pick Bivol by decision, but I wouldn't be surprised also if one punch ends the fight and he gets knocked out. But I pick Bivol by decision.
And before we wrap up, just out of curiosity, what did you make of Anthony Joshua's performance against Otto Wallin? I think one of the things that we've seen ever since he had his loss to Andy Ruiz was that he had his hands always tied up. It was almost like he was afraid to put his hands down and let his hands go. Just your thoughts on his performance?
Great performance, especially against a tough guy. He performed well. Activity, I think, was the main thing. It looks like he got a lot of confidence. Mm-hmm. You just said, everybody's seen like, oh man, he's kind of afraid to let go of his hands. But activity is what made him perform well. I've always said, Anthony's probably one of the most talented fighters in the heavyweight division. Next to Usyk, because Usyk has beat him twice, and Usyk is very talented. But I think he's the second best, most talented fighter in the division. So much potential, so big, so strong, but he needed that confidence, and I think this last fight showed him that he belongs up there. Even though he's lost to Usyk, he's got to think that he's the best. Because the way he fought, I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Usyk in the third fight, because he fought good. I think activity was the main thing. I'm glad they did it. That's one thing that Rudy Hernandez and myself, after the fight against Usyk in the locker room, I told everybody, keep him active, fight him again right away, and they did. Three times this year was the best thing they could have done for him.
Saudi Arabia is also hosting Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk. That's coming up. Forgot to ask you about that one.
Incredible.
Do you have a favorite?
You know what? I would like Usyk to put a beating on him, just because of his last performance. I think he disrespected boxing. Tyson Fury was totally out of shape. A lot of people thought he lost. I think he won, but still, he should have destroyed. What was his name?
Ngannou?
Ngannou. He should have destroyed him. Those guys. I'm not trying to say anything bad about MMA fighters, but a lot of my young fighters, every time we know we're fighting an MMA guy, we already know it's going to be an easy fight. It's just the way boxing is. A lot of MMA guys want to get into boxing, and those are easy fights for us. So this time around, I think Tyson Fury just took it so light that he didn't even train and disrespected boxing. So I would love to see Usyk just slap him around and beat him. But if Tyson Fury is in shape, he's a very dangerous man too. He uses his tricks. He uses his body, his weight, strength. He pushes. He does so many things that make him so effective that if he's in great shape, I pick him to beat Usyk. But I would like to see the opposite.
Well, Robert, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. All the best to you guys tomorrow night,
Sure.
and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you post-fight.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
Bye, Fight fans.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.